Hey everybody, I'm going to go ahead and do a sample problem, show you guys how to work it out in real time. The stuff we're covering now that I want you to learn is significant figures as far as how to use those when multiplying and dividing. And the rule we're looking at is this one. It's in your PowerPoint. It says the measurement with the number of sig figs determines how many digits are allowed in the final answer. When it says the measurement with the smallest number of sig figs, it just means look at the numbers that you're using to do the math. Okay, so if you look at the sample on the screen, we have 0.7891 times 207. So this is how you answer this problem using significant figures for your final answer. The first thing is you have to figure out the sig figs for each individual number. This has a decimal, so I start on this side. That has 4 sig figs. Okay, the second number, 207, I start from the right side because it doesn't have a decimal, ends up having 3 sig figs. Okay, the rule says that I have to use the least amount of sig figs in my final answer as the least amount found in my data. Okay, so you see my data has 4 sig figs and I also have 3 sig figs. The least amount is 3 sig figs. Oh, that's okay. Let's fix that a little. Okay, so obviously that's the least amount, 3 sig figs. Hopefully this will work a little better. Okay, 3 sig figs. Okay, so when I do the math, let's see. Let's get the calculator. It's going to say 0.77891 times and 207. Okay, if you're looking at the screen, no, we can't see it on the screen. Let's see right there, 207, and my answer is 163.3437. Okay, so my calculator answer is 163.3437. Okay, let me erase that so it's just gone. Okay, so that has 4 sig figs. This one has 3 sig figs. Okay, so my final answer has to have the same amount as the least amount in the data. Okay, the same amount of sig figs as the least amount found in the data. So that's 3 sig figs. So my final answer has to have 3 significant figures. Okay, so how do I do that considering that the calculator gave me a giant answer? Here's how it ends up working out. You're going to write the number again, 163.3437. And this tells you how many digits you're allowed to use. I'm allowed to use 3 digits. So I start from the left side because all numbers start from the left. And I count the first 3 digits I encounter. 1, 2, 3. At that point, I know I can only use those first 3 digits. Then what you do is the digit that follows the line, immediately after line, that's what's going to tell you about rounding that number. Okay, so at this stage I can use the first 3 digits, 163. Since the 3 is less than 5, that tells me to keep that as a 3. It doesn't round, so my final answer becomes 163, and it has 3 significant figures. Okay, so that number, again, the rule says when I have a math problem that's multiplying or dividing, I do the math and I just count the sig figs for all the data. In this case, the least amount was 3 sig figs, so my final answer has to have 3 sig figs. It can't have more because then you're reporting it as more precise, and it can't have less because then it's less precise. That is the exact amount. So again, when you multiply and divide, you look at the data that you're crunching, the numbers you're multiplying or dividing, and see which has the least amount of sig figs. 3 sig figs is the least here, so I'm going to have my final answer only reporting 3 sig figs. And there we go, 163. Okay? All right, number 2. This is a division one, 0.005723 times, actually this is a times problem as well, times 99. So we'll try this one as well. So here we go, 0.00, let's move to the